Hello everybody! Just before we start the video, I just wanted to let you know I have a newsletter. I've linked it down in the description box below. I talk about all things human design, spirituality, personal development, and I hope you check it out. It's 100% free, and I will see you later. Bye! You don't need more discipline in your life. You need more devotion. And now is the time of year where everyone is setting New Year's resolutions and we're all chasing new goals and trying to catch the end of the rainbow. But every year, you'll notice that people will set new goals and not achieve any of them. Come February, you will have quit half of your resolutions. And that's normal, that's okay. But you have to realize that changing your life requires you to want to change on a really deep and core internal level. And meeting the requirements of this change means going deeper than just looking at surface level goals. You have to want to change. And this means not only desiring the results of the change, but desiring the change itself, the change of the lifestyle that you're living. This means changing your behaviors, your thoughts, your beliefs, the way you act in everyday life. It requires shifting your entire identity in order to become the version of yourself that you need to be in order to attain the results. Because the thing is, if you were that person that could attain the results that you want, you would have attained them already. You would have achieved everything that you wanted to achieve. But in this lifetime, we don't necessarily achieve goals, we achieve characters. And that character is the identity that you choose to take on. And your identity comes from so many different sources. It can come from your parents, your childhood, things you're interested in, your hobbies, people you went to school with, people that you have around you currently, your workspace. Some examples of this is, if you have a child, suddenly you become a mom or a dad, and that's a new identity that you take on. When you start going to the gym and you go consistently, suddenly you take on the identity of being an athlete. When you go to college and you're studying really hard, you take on the identity of being an academic. Identities come from actions that you take in the world. And these actions you have to take repeatedly over and over again in order to convince yourself that that's who you are. Because life will always give you a reflection of who you are being rather than what you are thinking and what you want. You will never get what you desire, you will get who you are being. If you want a certain outcome in life, you must have the lifestyle that it takes to create it long before you actually attain that result. Adopt the lifestyle that leads you to your goals in life. This isn't a short-term plan, because the thing about changing your life is your life actually has to change. You have to build a life that you don't want to escape from. And this means setting things up in a balanced way. It doesn't mean going to extremes. It's so tempting at the very beginning of the year to try and go all in on something and just have it fall apart a couple months later. You have to rewire your brain to support the results that you want to achieve. And that means rewiring your brain to support the identity that you need to have in order to achieve what you need to achieve. Like take fitness for example. You might start heavy weight training, you might go on a new diet, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking that you can't wait until you go back to the version of yourself that you were in the past. You can't wait to start eating junk food again. You can't wait to achieve the weight goal that you want to achieve just to say that you've achieved it and then go back to your old ways and your old habits because that's what feels comfortable to you. But it only feels comfortable to you because you're still identifying with that version of yourself. If you identify as a different person, as a different character, you'll find it excruciating to go back to the old ways that you had before. Because now if you adopt this identity of a person who is fit, and a person who goes to the gym, and a person who is part of that whole fitness culture, you'll find it so difficult to leave. You'll find it so difficult to move backwards because you've shifted into this new state. Creating a life that you don't want to escape from takes practice. And it takes trial and error. And it takes a lot of hard work. It takes making failures first, growing from them, reflecting upon them, and then trying again, but trying differently. Because if you do the same thing over and over and over again, you will always get the same result. And if things have not worked out for you until this point, then it's definitely time to start trying something different. You can still achieve the same goal you want to achieve, but you just have to go about it in a different way. And this is where needing devotion over discipline comes in. And the key difference between the two is the amount of love that you're willing to give to yourself. If you act without love in the name of discipline, then you are using your goals as a form of self-punishment. And therefore you're only working from a place of self-hate. And let me tell you, you can never, ever achieve your goals from a place of self-hatred. Because what you're doing is trying to escape one version of yourself to become another, but never fully realizing that and never fully getting there. Because this hatred acts as a block in front of you. You cannot rebirth from self-hatred. You can try and it might work for a short time, but that's when everything continues to fall apart. And that's where the change needs to happen. Devotion means moving through life with this underlying sense of love. Devotion is moving through life with this enthusiasm for the work that you're doing and for the version of yourself that you're becoming, for the growth that you're experiencing in your life. When you put devotion at the forefront, suddenly you're putting the process and the journey also at the forefront. You're not just focusing on the result itself and then flogging yourself for not having achieved that already. You should be refusing to make yourself miserable in life. You should be building things that you want to return to. Building a life that excites you. Do the work that you were excited to wake up to in the morning. You have full control over the direction that you have in your life. Don't romanticize the struggle. Nobody's going to give you a gold badge or a medal at the end of the day for how much you've struggled throughout your life. And enjoying life makes it so much easier for you to actually show up for yourself. Because this way you are working with a different intention. You're loving your existence. You're not grinding until you drop. You're living. Truly living. Build yourself a life where you can continue to grow and not just reach this dead end. Because this is how you fall in love with life. This is how you fall in love with yourself, with your path, with your journey. The reason why you came here, the reason why you're on earth to begin with. This is where life begins and suffering ends. And this is not to say that it'll be easy, but the devotion that you put towards yourself will translate to so many other aspects in your life. Seeds that you never thought would grow, that you had planted, will now suddenly start to flourish, suddenly start bearing fruits for you. You'll suddenly start seeing the efforts of your labor coming into fruition. You need to take what serves you and leave the rest. Take the abundance with you. Take the love with you. And leave the suffering and struggles behind. You need to show up with the intention of love in your life. Show up with the intention of devoting you to yourself, to your craft, to your life's work, to your purpose. And loving every moment of that, even if it's hard. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Bye.